Hello students, myself Neha Gupta from Mahant Pachittar Singh College of Engineering and Technology. Today's topic is memory interfacing with 8085. Before proceeding to my topic, I would like to explain you the importance of microprocessor 8085. Microprocessor plays a vital role in our daily lives. We can see that we can use microprocessor in our mobile phones, in microwave ovens, in washing machines, in home automation gadgets. We use microprocessor in our daily lives. But microprocessor is not a standalone process. It is a microprocessor based device. That means all these gadgets are basically microcomputers, which are the combination of three different devices. One is microprocessor, next is the memory, and next is the input and output devices. Now, without memory and I/O devices, microprocessor is nothing. But without microprocessor, memory and I/Os are nothing. So all these devices go hand in hand. So it is very beneficial to study the memory interfacing with 8085 microprocessor in this way. Microprocessor is basically register based programmable device that takes in the inputs, performs arithmetic and logic operations according to the instructions stored in the memory, and provides the desired output. Now here comes the concept of memory. How memory is used here? Basically, the input that comes to the microprocessor, it is from the memory. The instructions on which it performs the arithmetic and logic operation, it comes from the memory. And also the output, the desired output which is being displayed on the output device, it is also held up by the memory. So memory is an important device in interfacing of 8085 microprocessor. So if we talk about microprocessor based system, it basically comprised of microprocessor itself, memory and I/O devices. Now memory, if we talk about memory, what is memory? Memory is a storage device which is made up of lots of registers. And registers are what? Registers are combination of flip-flops which are used to store the bits. Bits are zeros and ones. So microprocessor is a device which performs its task on zeros and ones, which are in binary format. So the output itself is also in zeros and ones. So memory, which is the combination of registers, it is a storage device. It has following functions. The first function is it stores the input data. The next function for the microprocessor is it stores the instruction to be stored in the memory. Third important concept is the intermediate results. The intermediate results of the logic and arithmetic operations are being stored by the memory. And next and foremost important storage is it stores or it holds the result to be displayed on the output devices. So memory is very important. If we talk about nowadays, if we used to purchase a mobile phone, what we call for the vendor? We call to the vendor that we want a mobile phone which has more and more memory. Why is it so? Because we want that phone which is fast enough. So increasing the memory or increasing the storage capacity, we can increase the speed of the gadget. So multitasking, as we all do multitasking in our nowadays life, so we want our gadgets to do that multitasking. So how multitasking is done? It is done with the help of more and more memory interfacing. So with the help of this designing concept, you come to know how we do multitasking with our gadgets. Now, before proceeding, the concept of memory interfacing, which is very important in designing aspect, I would like to explain you the memory structure. Basically, there are two types of memory. One is read-write memory and another is read-only memory. As the name indicates, read-write memory. We can read as well as we can write into this memory. It is also known as random access memory. ROM, that is read-only memory. As its name indicates, it is only read-only memory. So we can't write any program or data into this memory. We can only retrieve back the data from this memory. So we are having ROM and RAM chips under a microprocessor based system. That is, any embedded system includes read-write memory as well as read-only memory. So I would like to introduce the structure of memory with you. Now here, just see read-write memory. Here there are two types of buffers attached with the memory. Now these two buffers are nothing but the interfacing devices with the data bus. We know that with the help of data bus, that is written here D0 to D7, 8-bit data lines are there for the 8085. So these data bus are being carried the data which is to be written into the memory, and from the output buffer we can take out the data. So for writing the data we use input buffer, and for retrieving back the data we have output buffer. So these two buffers are very important for writing the data as well as for retrieving the data. Now for that we have interface data bus with the input and output buffers. Here also one concept is very important, that the concept of control signals. With the help of those signals we can accomplish our task. Which task? Either we want to write the data or we want to read the data. So we are having two signals which are being supplied by which is being given by the microprocessor itself, and those signals are write and read. Now if you see here, I have written here some mnemonics. WR bar, I can say it write bar, and RD bar, that is read bar. These are the two bar signals. What are those signals? These are basically bar signals are active low signal, and active low signals are what? Whenever it is 0, it activates. So whenever write bar signal is 0, it is activated. Whenever it is activated, it activates what? It activates input buffer. Whenever input buffer is activated, it means the memory is going to be written. So some data is being inputting into the memory. Now when we give read bar to the signal, that means if 0 comes to the read bar signal, what happens to it? The output buffer gets activated. When output buffers get activated, at that time D0 to D7, that means 8-bit data is being retrieved or being read from the memory. So in this way, the whole process of writing the data and reading the data take place with the help of read and write signal. Now between these read and write signal, I have written one more signal that is known as chip select signal, CS bar. What is this chip select signal? Basically, in a microprocessor based signals, we are having number of chips. Now, if we are handling chip number 1, that chip number 1 is the chip select of chip number 1. If we are dealing with chip number 2, then chip number 2 address is the chip select of chip number 2. Now, whenever I have to select this chip, we have to give 0 signal to this chip select. That means we have to activate this chip select. So the first and foremost task is to chip select this signal. That means select this chip. After selecting the chip, the read and write control will take place. So if this chip select signal is 1, nothing will happen in this chip. Either it is a memory chip, or it is an IO chip, or some other timer chip, or some other chip. Now I would like to proceed further, but here I have written 8 KB. I would like to give some light over size of memory first of all. Now here size of memory. Whenever we talk about memory, we talk about 1024 memory size, 2048, 4096, 8192. What are those? Let us take an example. The size of memory, it is always associated with the number of registers in the memory. As I have told you that memory is a pile of registers multiplied by the capacity of each register. Most of the time the register carries 8 bit of data. It means 1 byte of capacity is there for a single register. So if we talk about 1024 registers having 8 bit of capacity, now the size is written as 1024 multiplied by 8 bits. It is bits. Now this 8 number of bit is basically 1 byte. So we can call it 1024 bytes. Now this 1024 is approximately equal to 1000. So we can calculate 1000 bytes as 1 kilobytes because kilo is represented by 1000. So 1 kilobyte. So that is the reason why we call 1024 as 1 KB. So this is the reason 1024 is known as 1 kilobyte of memory. Similarly, 1024 is what? It is 2 raised to power 10. Why 2 only? Why we are considering 2 factor only? Because we are dealing with bits that are 0 and 1. That is only 2 in number. That is why the combination of 2 takes place here. So 2 raised to power 10, 2 raised to power 10 multiplied by 8, which is equal to 1 KB size, 1 kilobyte size. Now here I have deliberately written 8 kilobyte of size. So this 8 KB means 8192 bytes. Now 8192 is designated as 8 KB, like 8 KB is 2 raised to power 3 for 8 and 2 raised to power 10 for this K. So the size is basically 2 raised to power 13 byte size. 2 raised to power 13 byte size. Now here 2 raised to power 13 is there. This number is what? It is the number of address lines used to address the number of registers in the read-write memory. Now I will come here. This is the block, internal decoder block. What is that? This internal decoder is what? This is basically a decoder which decodes the address lines from the 8085. The address lines comes, it decodes it and then it gives to the memory. Now, what is the purpose of this decoder? It will basically provides us the address of the register. A particular address of the register. As we know that 8192 bytes, it means how many registers are there? 8192 registers are there. Bytes means each register carries 8 bit of data. So for 8192 registers, there are 8192 different addresses. Now how to make those 8192 addresses? Now these are being made by using 2 raised to power 3 multiplied by 2 raised to power 10. What is this? This is 2 raised to power 13. So 13 is the number of address lines. This is the number of address lines that are being used here for addressing the different registers. That means from A0 to A12. What are the numbers? A0 to A12 are 13 numbers. So 13 number of address lines are being used to address 8192 registers of which size? Of the size 8 bits. So this is the concept of read-write memory structure. Similarly, focus on this read-only memory. The difference in between the two, I have already told you. One and foremost difference is there is no write signal. So we are having only one buffer, that is known as output buffer, and for activating that buffer we have read bar signal, and for activating the whole chip we are having chip select. Without selecting the chip we can't access this read only memory. Same is it. I have taken here an example of 2 KB. 2 KB, what does it mean? 2 KB means 2 multiplied by 2 raised to power 10 byte size. Now 2 multiplied by 2 raised to power 10, it is basically 2048 bytes. Now from here we will calculate the number of address lines which are being used to decode the different addresses of the registers, which are 2048 are number. So 2 into 2 raised to power 10, that means 2 raised to power 11. So from A0 to A10, these are the 11 number of address lines from microprocessor 8085, which is being given to internally decode it and provides the address, a particular address of the register. So this is the concept of memory structure. Now we are in a process. Now here I will explain you the interfacing of 8085. No doubt it is a huge diagram, but it will be easier for you to understand the concept of memory design. So in this way you can think about your mobile phone, your gaming gadgets and microwave oven, washing machines about this memory. So it is very important aspect. So if we talk about interfacing, there are two types of interfacing. One is absolute or full decoding and another is partial decoding. Absolute or full decoding means the address lines, we know that in 8085 there are 16 address lines. If we use all the 16 address lines for interfacing memory with the microprocessor, that is known as full decoding or absolute decoding. But if we use minimum number of address lines, that is known as partial decoding. Now here I have taken the example of absolute decoding, and in the end I will explain the same for the partial decoding as well. Now before going to the interfacing, I would like to give you an analogy. For example, if a courier boy is having some parcel and he has to deliver that parcel to someone, what will he do first of all? He first of all take that parcel from the vendor, and then he will see what is the address. There is a name of the person which he is going to deliver the address, then the address, and then the locality, PIN number, phone number, all the data is on the parcel. Now what is the foremost condition for the courier boy? He will locate that area first of all using the PIN code, and then he will locate the lane number, and then the house number, and then the name of that personality whom he want to deliver that package. So same concept lies here. We want the data to be transmitted from microprocessor to memory, or we want some instruction to be fetched from memory. There is a two-way process with the memory. So all this process can be done, but with one and foremost condition, that is the selection of the chip. That means by selecting the area, by checking the PIN code. So first of all, area is being processed. So we will select the chip. There are many chips in a microprocessor based system. We are having number of memory chips. We are having number of timer units, delay units. So we will select the chip to whom we want to deliver or take the parcel, or you can say the data. Now next step is address of the memory location. After selecting the chip, we will point out the address of the memory location, that is the house number. Next is whether we have to deliver the parcel or we have to get the parcel. So it is generation of control signal. So this control signal is from where we get this control signal? From 8085. So for the courier boy, it is from the vendor itself. So he will ask him if he has to give the parcel. So generation of control signal, if microprocessor want the instruction to be fetched from the memory, what generation signal he will give to the microprocessor will give to the memory? It will give read bar signal. Now if microprocessor want to write some data onto the memory, it will produce write bar signal. So after the generation of control signal, there is transfer of data, from which path it will transfer the data? With the help of data bus. Now using these 4 steps, we will design our whole interfacing diagram. Now these 4 steps are basically what? These are basically the use of buses. We know that what is interfacing? Interfacing is communication between the two devices. So we are dealing with the communication between the 8085 and the memory unit. The structure of memory unit is already clear to you. Now here the communication between the two take place with the help of 3 buses. What are those 3 buses? You already know that data bus associated with the microprocessor, that is the 8 data lines. Next is address bus that is associated with the microprocessor, that is the 16 address lines. And next is the control signal, or you can say the control bus. These are basically the 4 operations: memory read, memory write, IO read and IO write. Now I will explain it in detail. Now just focus here. We are having 8085. Now here 8085 comprised of address bus. First is the higher order address bus, that is from A8 to A15. Next address bus is multiplexed address bus, that is AD0 to AD7. That means it is multiplexed with address as well as data. So AD0 to AD7 is being given to a latch. There is an address latch enable signal from the microprocessor, from where we have A0 to A7 first of all, and after 3 states we are having data bus. So first we will have our address and then we will have our data bus. So address bus as full is A0 to A15, that is 16 in number, and data bus D0 to D7, that is 8 in number. Now next is control bus. Now control signals are write signal, read signal and IO by M bar signal. It is written as WR bar, read bar, IO slash M bar signal. Now it is being given to a decoder. Now what is the purpose of decoder? Because we want 4 separate operations. I have already told you we are having 4 operations of microprocessor: input output read, input output write, memory read and memory write. Because with the memory interfacing we also use IO interfacing. So these 4 signals are generated with the help of 3:8 decoder. We are having 3 inputs and 8 outputs. Out of 8 we are having 4 outputs. Now let us take the example of generation of memory read first of all. Now memory read, it means this signal is 0, memory signal is 0, read signal is 0 because we want these 2 signals as active signal, and write signal is 1. So 0, 0, 1. This is our most significant bit. This is our least significant bit. So 0, 0, 1. What is the output? It is the output number 1. So Y1 is used for memory read bar. Similarly, let us take memory write bar. So memory write bar means the write signal is 0 but read is 1. And memory signal is again 0. So 0, 1, 0, that is 0, 1, 0. The binary of 0, 1, 0 is, the decimal of 0, 1, 0 is 2. So Y2 is used for memory write. Similarly IO read and similarly IO write. Now next comes our memory modules. Here in this example I have taken 2 modules. One is ROM, read only memory, and another is RAM of same size, that is 1 kilobyte. Just for your understanding, I have taken here 1 kilobyte. Now if it is of 1 kilobyte, first and foremost thing is calculate the number of address lines used for internal decoding of registers. Now 1 kilobyte means 1024 number of registers. Now here 2 raised to power 10 is 1 KB. I have already discussed that. That means 10 number of address lines are used for addressing 1024 number of registers. So from A0 to A9, it is representing the addresses of what? Addresses of registers used in the RAM and ROM. So here comes the interfacing. Now we'll start with ROM. We will dedicate our data bus with the ROM here. In the RAM, we will dedicate our data bus bidirectionally, but for the ROM, we will dedicate our data bus unidirectionally. Next is address. If we talk about address is from A0 to A9. So A0 to A7 comes directly from the lower order address, and from A8 to A15 we are having A8 to A9. So this A8 to A9 is here. So with address bus data bus, one more important thing is what? Important thing is the read and write signals. So memory read and memory write is given to the RAM, and only read signal is given to the ROM. So these are the signals for the buffers. And the next and important concept is chip select. We have to select one of the two chips at a time. Okay? Now for selecting one of the two chips, we have dedicated one decoder here. Again, we will make use of 3:8 decoder, in which we take 3 inputs and we will have 8 different outputs. So 8 number of chips we can use here, 8 number of chips. So but here we are only having 2 number of chips in this example. Now here priority is always given to ROM because it is read only memory. So priority is given to ROM. Next priority is RAM. Why is it so? Because ROM contains some bootstrap programs which are being saved by the manufacturer. But RAM is read-write memory. We can read and we can write our instructions onto it. So the selection of ROM is prior to RAM. So what we will do here, for 3 inputs, what we are having here pending is A15 to A10. These are the address lines which are not in use. A15 to A10, because we are using here absolute decoding, so we have to use A15 to A10. So here I have used here 3 inputs, A15, 14, 13. Just like this, first is our LSB and last is our MSB. The rest of A10, A11, A12 are given with the help of OR gate to the ground signals. So these are the 0 inputs. Now chip select. How we select the chip? The first and foremost signal is given to ROM, because I have told you it is the priority given to the ROM. So 0, 0, 0, it becomes Y0 and it is given to chip select 1. Now 0, 0, 1, it becomes Y1. Now at that time RAM is selected. Now this is the interfacing or designing of memory with the help of 8085. And this memory is incomplete. This memory is incomplete without memory mapping. So memory mapping is very important. In case of memory mapping, we will basically calculate the starting address and the last address of ROM and RAM. Here I have drawn the memory map. What is memory map? We have to write A0 to A15 complete. So A0, A1, A2 up to A15. Write down it. After that, I will calculate the starting address of ROM and last address of ROM. Okay? Now for starting address of ROM, what will happen? You will just see here. Here we are having ROM. A0 to A9. From A0 to A9, all the these address lines are being used for addressing the registers of ROM. So the starting address of the register would be 0. So from A0 to A9, all values are 0. After that, there comes A10 to A15. Just see here, A10, A11, A12. All the 3 signals are 0. A10, A12 and A11. These are 0. After that, we are selecting the chip with the help of Y0. Y0 is taken with the help of 0, 0, 0. So here also we are having 0, 0 and 0. So this is the starting address of ROM. So the starting address of ROM is the page 0000. This is the hexadecimal address of ROM. Next is the last address. Last address is calculated with the help of all ones which are used here. So A0 to A9 is being used. These A0 to A9 are all taken as ones. So from A0 to A9 all are 1. Just write here 1. After that, for chip select, this chip selection is basically fixed for ROM. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So here also 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Now we will calculate. Taking the group of 4, it is 0, 3, F, F. You just see here it is 0, 3, F, F, H. So this is the starting address of ROM. This is the last address of ROM. 0, 3, F, F. So this much of capacity of ROM is being used with 8085 using 1 KB of ROM. Similarly, if we start with the RAM, the starting address of RAM is same. A0 to A9 we are having 0. Then A10 0, A11 0, A12 0, A15 0, A14 0, but A13 is 1. Why it is 1? Because we are selecting Y1. So A13 is 1, rest all are 0. Similarly here, all A0 to A9 we are taking 1, all 0, A13 1. Now using this, we are having 2000 as 2000H to 23FFH. This is the memory map of RAM which is used in this example, that is RAM of 1 KB can use 2000 to 23FF. Now what are the different problems that comes under this? Now you can be given the starting and last address of the chip and you have to design this interfacing. Now starting with the memory map, you can design this interfacing. We have done this by starting the interfacing and come towards the memory map. This is the either way. You can start with the memory map and end towards the interfacing also. Now the last concept is partial decoding. Now in case of partial decoding, we make use of minimum number of address lines. Here all the data which is associated with the ROM and RAM, that is the address bus, the data bus, the control signal, all are same. But chip selection is different. Now if we are dealing with 2 number of chips, that means 2 raised to power 1 is equal to 2 number of chips. So how many combinations we can have 2 raised to power 1? We need only one line. One address line can be used for addressing a chip select. So instead of all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, here we are using 6 different address lines. Instead of this, we can only take one address line. Suppose I have taken here A10. So A10 is the address line which is used for chip selecting 1 and chip selecting 2. When A10 is 0, it selects chip select 1. When A10 is 1, it will select chip select 2. Now question arises, what will happen to the status of other address lines? Now how we make the memory map of that? Now for that, the lines which are not in use are taken as don't care. Same that we used in our digital electronics. Don't care can be taken as 0 or 1. So here also we can map it with the help of don't care. So nothing to worry, either we use full decoding or we use partial decoding, but we have understood each and every concept of memory interfacing. Now I hope you are able to design more and more memory interfacing with the 8085, and here you are now confident enough to interface any kind of memory with 8085, whether it is 2 KB of ROM, 8 KB of RAM or 16 KB of RAM. You can calculate the number of lines and you can interface your 8085 with that RAM or ROM modules. So in the end, I would like to just recall these 4 important points which are basically the crux of our interfacing. First is the selection of chip. For most important thing, the selection of chip. Either we are taking 4 chips, 16 chips, 20 chips, we have to select the chip. Next is the address of memory location. Memory location is what? The address of register. So we are having number of registers. Now a particular address of register. For example, if we are dealing with 0000 to 03FF, and in between I have taken one address, that is 0001. This is what? This is one of the memory location of ROM. So this is basically address of memory location. Next is generation of control signal. A proper control signal is generated. Either we have to read or we have to write the data. And the last and foremost important concept is transfer of data via data bus. And with this our communication takes place. The complete communication takes place. That means the interfacing is complete. Thank you.